Greetings! This is a Lambi Dolls tutorial on making a braided wig for your fashion dolls. You'll need an old knee-high stocking, some yarn, some thread that matches the yarn, some small pony beads, a needle, 3 pins, and your sewing scissors. This video is dedicated to those of my sisters who kept their naturals, never to look a hot comb in the teeth. And that's from the poem by Gwendolyn Brooks. The first thing you'll need to do is remove the doll's original hair. This doll was from the dollar store, so that's not too difficult. You'll have to work a little harder to remove Barbie's hair. Once you've finished, take up your knee-high stocking and cut the elastic band off the top. Then cut that band into 2 equal pieces. You'll actually be able to make 2 wigs from this one stocking. Set one piece aside and fold the other in half with the right sides together. Then backstitch at the bottom edge to secure your thread. After that, you can stitch along the open edge about 3/4 of an inch. Then turn and stitch in between the first line of stitches to create a strong seam. Tie off your thread and cut it. And then we'll stitch in the same way across the top of the wig cap. When you reach the end, turn and come back through in between the first line of stitches. Only this time we'll pull up the thread to gather the top of the wig cap before we tie it off and cut it. Also, we'll trim the excess from the top of the wig cap like so. Then turn the cap right side out and it'll look like that. Find the seam and position it over the back of your doll's head. You'll need to secure the wig cap with the pins by inserting them into the holes where the doll's hair was originally rooted. Don't worry, this doesn't hurt your doll at all. Now we'll cut the yarn. Take a piece of cardboard 6 inches square and tie your yarn on to hold it in place. Now wrap the yarn around 48 times. Then cut the yarn loops off and trim off the knot that you made to hold the yarn in place. I'm using 4-ply yarn. If we braid 3 pieces of this yarn together, the braids will be too stiff and thick for the doll. So I'm removing 1 of the 4 strands, but I'm just setting it aside to use later. Remove the extra 4th strand from 2 more pieces of yarn. Then knot them together at the end. And this will become your first braid. For every 3 braid sections, you'll have a 4th made from the extra strands that you pulled. Braid your strand, but when you come to the end, don't knot it right away, because you'll need to insert your pony beads in multiples of 2. Then we'll make a knot to keep the beads from falling off the ends. Each braid strand will actually make 2 braids for your doll, like so. 48 pieces of yarn will yield 20 braids, but you only need 16 to complete this project. Take the first strand, fold it in half, and then bring your needle from the underside of the wig cap through the center of the braid loop. This way the knot will be invisible. Then stitch across the top of the braid loop about 2 more times to secure it. Now take up your next braid loop, insert the needle down through the first loop and up through the second one, and then stitch across the top of the second braid loop as you did for the first. Repeat this procedure 4 more times until you have a row of 6 braids along the center seam. Then turn and we'll come down the other side from the back, positioning the braid loops directly opposite those in the first row. When you reach the front of the wig, insert your needle through the 2 front braid loops and then tie off your thread and cut it. Now we'll attach the last 4 braid loops using the same technique. The last thing to do is to secure the braids in place. Bring the first 4 braids in the front forward so they can swing freely, and then insert your needle from the underside of the wig cap just beside the eyebrow. Now come through the yarn braid. This will make the stitch invisible, and then make a stitch right beside the braid in the wig cap. Bring your needle through the second braid and then beside it in the wig cap. Continue this technique all the way around the wig. Now I'll show you how to put it on. Insert your fingers inside the wig cap and stretch it over the back of your doll's head, like so. You can add a ribbon to match your doll's outfit. And now, as Gwendolyn Brooks would say, your doll's hair is celebration in the world.